Hello, my name's Vise. I wanted to make a video showing you guys some techniques I like to use for chaining different Ableton MIDI effects and some of the Max for Live effects together to create really random combinations of sounds that can be really useful for things like spot effects and incidentals, things to kind of help fill out the atmosphere or certain moments, just to give your piece that extra 10% or whatever. Quickly before I show you guys that, I wanted to show you a technique that I have seen a few tutorials for online, but just in case you hadn't heard of it, it's the clip legato function, follow actions. And if I just have a random group of clips here that I've imported from one of my sample packs, and if you shift select them, and if you enable this little L button, I think it's hidden by default, you have the option here to choose different follow actions. By default it's set to none, so you would just play a clip and it would either loop or end and that'd be it. And essentially you could set it to something wild like other, and this is 16th beats and bars here. So for example, if you set this to something relatively cool, let's just keep it at 2. As long as you've shift selected, it's changed that for all these clips. So if I were to just play one right here, you can hear it's creating a really random combination of sounds. And there's a lot of different variations you can do with this. And then afterwards you would print it. And so that's pretty cool. It'll kind of print all the clips in succession, and you could consolidate them and start messing around with whatever you wanted. But I'm not going to go too much into that because, like I said, there are a few good tutorials out there already for that. What I want to show you guys is this chain. Essentially, I always do different variations of it, but it functions around the basis of drum racks. And right here I've got this template, and in it has this Ableton MIDI chord plugin, an arpeggiator, MIDI random, and a drum rack. And this drum rack is just filled with different percussive sounds from, again, one of my banks. Nothing special. If I were to just play, you can it's just a random loop. What's cool stuff starts to happen though when you turn these guys on. Obviously the chord being before the arpeggiator is going to change the MIDI input. The arpeggiator is going to read whatever additional MIDI notes you're generating through this, and the MIDI random is just generating more randomness, and there's a percentage chance, and you can jump up or down octaves depending on what you send it to. So I'm just going to tweak a few of these. I've got some of these parameters macroed just to this this chain I've created, and I'm just going to show you how that starts to change the sound as I tweak some of these. So I'm just holding down a MIDI note. So you can, if you see here, you can see that the notes are jumping around pretty extremely. I should probably turn the scale down because I don't have that many notes in this chain. And this one's honestly not too exciting because it's just, like I said, simple percussion. But you can do really cool things with this. So for example, I could create another instrument rack within this drum rack. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the chain. And in this duplicate version, I'm going to delete all these. And let's grab a different collection of sounds. Let's grab something with a bit more tone on it. So let's grab some of these let's grab, okay, some of these guys, this should be pretty cool. So I'm just loading those onto this duplicate, and let's just create a quick chain. So I'm just going to distribute the ranges equally, and you could do a cool thing like macro this chain to here so that you can have control over that. So while it's over here, it's only going to be affecting our new chain. This might be a bit loud, so check out how this new combination sounds. gain selector while I do this to start creating hybrids of both those. And again, that it's a bit intense, but that the point is, it doesn't need to be clean. It can be messy. That's okay, because what I essentially do after this is we can record this performance to audio while we're messing around and having fun. Just quickly before I do print some to audio, you see me randomly tweaking these while I hit MIDI notes. This is where the Max for Live plugins can come in. You can have some fun with them. So for example, if you use the Max for Live LFO, you could map that to, for example, something like the let's say something like the gate. So you can see now that's affecting that, and we could increase the depth a bit. So maybe that's moving a bit quickly, but or we could change it to something more dramatic, like a ramp or something, and turn it up a bit. That's moving pretty aggressively. And if you want to get crazy, there's this Vise Randomizer Max for Live plugin that is pretty extreme. So for example, if I were to map that to let's see, what should we map it to? Let's map it to something in here. No, not gonna work. Okay, well, let's map it to, you know what, click on a device header. Oh, you need to click on the header. What an idiot. Okay, so there we go. So now you can see, look at it, it's just like going crazy, changing all the different parameters in here. And afterwards you do that, you can you have access, if you want, to all the individual parameters which in here, and you can customize what's on or off, or you could increase the randomization or offset it, or do various things, but essentially that's going to create even more randomness. Anyway, so this is what I'll do. I'll generally, like you can see, by picking different themed drum racks within here, you can get completely different combinations of sounds, or if you're just going for madness and that's what you want, that's cool too. So what I'll do essentially is I'll create another Ableton track, and I'll just set this to resampling and record as I mess around. Oops. And you can just see there, everything's kind of going crazy and it's a bit mental at this point. But what I really like to do after that, after you get this kind of chaos, is you can sift through and find parts of it you like, and you can get completely different colors by, you know, stretching it or pitching it. I don't know, let's say for example you liked like that part. You could then create another audio track, you know, and duplicate that down, and then layer them together, and then pitch this one completely differently. And then you just start, the possibilities are endless, and if we wanted, you know, we could use this at a very specific moment in time, and you know, make it like a short kind of staccato-y thing. Why aren't you working? Because there's a tiny piece of audio somewhere in here. Whatever. So like, say you wanted that at a moment of time and whatever it was that you're working on. You know, it's just that might seem like a lot of work for not much of a result, but the possibilities are endless, and I just find it more fun. You can have more fun, and you can literally build a limitless sound bank of sounds from here, depending on what type of source signals you choose to use within these different these different chains. Quickly, before I finish the video, I just want to show you guys one last Max for Live device, which is pretty cool. This is just a kick and a percussion loop that I made at an earlier date. Yeah. So on here, I have this envelope follower, Max for Live envelope follower, and you can use that to apply similar sorts of well, not similar, but it is a modulation source if you were looking to, you know, shake this up and get even more crazy. So if I just choose map, and then let's say I chose the sync rate, and then I put those together. So you can see it's kind of now moving with the amplitude shape of the loop. And that could kind of give you a bit more controlled chaos, and you could then again, you know, print that and go to town, you know, doing whatever you wanted. And after it's in audio, you could start the entire process again if you really wanted. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to set this to channel 4. Hey, we're doing it live, right? Okay. And then you could, you know, if you really wanted, take something like this and then slice that to a new MIDI track, 16ths, whatever you want, and start it again and integrate all these different things from this chain into there, and continue as much as you want and get really crazy. The possibilities are endless. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. I like to do that if I'm not feeling particularly inspired in any sort of direction. You know, you can always build up your sound library, or if you're just looking for some new creative ways to kind of add some extra cool stuff to your piece. All right, cool. Take care, guys. Bye.